Welcome to Scatter Travel. I'm Debbie Gerber. The little boy sticking his finger in the dike to save Holland. I remember this story by Mary Mapes Dodge when I grew up, called Hans Brinker and the Silver Skates. It's at the entrance to Maduradam.
We're in Maduradam. Maduradam is a little miniature of Holland. Everything in Holland here is 1/44th the size. All the major attractions in Holland or the Netherlands are represented here at Maduradam. Maduradam is close to The Hague, and it's a fun place to go, wander through, look at things. Good place to start a trip. You can figure out the things you really want to see and the things that you think you've already seen enough of. By coming here, Maduradam is an awesome place to come.
We like to go to Maduradam just to walk around and see the places that we've been to and places that we still want to see. It's amazing how exact and precise all the buildings are. They are all made at 1/25th of the size of the original buildings and landscape. The park originally opened in 1952, and it has grown since then. Every time I go there, I'm amazed at the things that I see. One of the things that I'm really amazed by is the amount of work that it takes to keep this little park up. If you imagine, all of the trees and plants have to be kept in miniature. That requires that they trim 6 to 10 times a year to keep those. I mean, one little bonsai tree nearly drove me insane trying to keep it trimmed and proper. Can you imagine having an entire park of little trees and plants have to be kept in this miniature size to match the buildings? And a lot of the attractions in there have actions. Like this had a little raising bridge, and then the boat would go through. There's cars moving down the streets, and people and dogs and bands and parades and just everything you can imagine. And then here is a little carnival. I think it's called Fun Fair, and there's a real moving roller coaster on it. It's hilarious. We laughed and laughed. We spent a lot of time at this one because it was just fun. And look at all the little moving parts. It's extremely complicated, all the things that they have and keep going there. Originally, this was opened as a war memorial and as a charity foundation. And now it's a major tourist attraction. And you can see why. Kids love it. Adults love it. We've always enjoyed going to this park. I think it needs to be more publicized, and more people need to have a chance to know that it exists and be able to go there. It's near a lot of other things that you would go to travel and see in Holland. Here's my husband being the giant at the windmill, because you know windmills are super tall, so this was just kind of a fun thing to play with. So he's blowing the windmill, and then of course he's got to go to the next building and be the giant and look over the top of it. So we had a blast, as well as seeing these wonderful miniature buildings. It's all laid out in a little pathway so that you can walk down these little sidewalks, and they're all marked, and they give you a little pamphlet that has each of the numbers and then what the buildings are. So as you go, the buildings are numbered, and you can see the little green sign next to me there where the buildings are numbered. And as you go along, each little scene is numbered, and then you can look in your book and see what it is. And the sidewalks are marked with little arrows that tell you which way to go so that you stay in the pattern as you work around the park. Look at all the trees that they have to keep in miniature, and some of them are blooming. They said some of them even produce fruit. So you know, it's a huge undertaking for them. Here is a water park. One of the funny things that we did is saw a large regular-sized duck land at the in one of these and sit there, and here's this huge live duck and all these little miniature things, and it just looked really funny because, you know, that's not what you'd expect to see. Here is a concert. They got a little band in there, and it's playing, and you've got all the people, and and you're standing back there watching it. It just made us want to go and sit down and join the concert, because that's kind of what you'd think of doing, but you're like this giant and these little teeny people, and they're all watching this concert. So it was really kind of a cool thing to do, and we spent some time at this little scene. There's so many. I've only just picked a few that I liked. Here we are. We're waving goodbye. We've had a great time at Maduradam, and I highly recommend it to anyone that goes to Holland. We were excited to be in Scheveningen during the time that they were doing the Sand Sculpture Festival. We got there after they had been completed, but they have them on display for a while. They have gates around them so no one can ruin them. It was really interesting because they can't use the sand on the beach there, even though it's right there by the beach. They can't use that sand because it's not sticky enough. And so they haul in river sand, which is a square sand, so it sticks together better. These sculptures are done by professional sculptors, and they're very precise, beautiful sculpting work. You can hardly believe it's done out of sand. This year, it took 9 days to complete the sculptures. There were 7 sculptors. It was in honor of the World Wildlife Fund to help raise money for that. And the theme was Save Our Planet. And so it's an open-air exhibit. You just go there, like I said, you walk around and you can see them. Originally, I guess there was a sand sculptor named Gary Kirk, and he brought sand sculpting to the Netherlands in 1991 and started this festival. He tries to promote sand sculpting around the world. The sand sculptors came from the World Sand Sculpting Academy. There was 300 tons of sand brought in to do these sculptures. So you can imagine that was quite an undertaking to do this. The festival happens every year, so check the dates, and if you get a chance, like I said, they're on display for a month or so afterwards. So, if you get a chance, it's awesome to go and see the abilities. Makes you want to go sculpt something out on the sand. But have a look at some of these sand sculptures and how wonderful they are. Scheveningen is a fun place to go, whether the sand sculptures are there or not. Has a beautiful beach. Long Beach has a boardwalk with all kinds of things going on. There are restaurants, there are fast food stands, there are, of course, fruit stands and ice cream stands, which were our favorite there, as well as sandwich shops and nice restaurants. It's just a great place to go. Beautiful beach. Has a long pier with a building out on it. The restaurants that are out on the beach themselves have lounging areas. It's huge. And well attended. It would be a fun place to go if you want a social crowd, see lots of people, remembering that we were there in the wintertime, so it wasn't very busy at the time that we were there, although there were a few people there in the middle of the day. I loved the lounges. They were these huge half-circle, like couch things that you could lay out on, and there they are, and you could have your drinks and have your lunch served to you there, and look out over the rest of the beach and watch the people. It's a nice people watching area. Like I said, a fairly long boardwalk area that has the restaurants and things on it. There is also a area for people to kind of play. There's a merry-go-round there. There was lots of people participating in that, and seeing the merry-go-round reminds you of being on a boardwalk on a beach. It's just, all of it's just kind of part of the ambiance of being in Finnegan and on this boardwalk with the beach. There is also the Sea Life Museum there. It's a aquarium, a sea life aquarium where you can go. There's even touching some of the sea life animals, but that's another fun destination, all there on the boardwalk of Scheveningen Beach. Easy to find, fun place to go. Enjoy these places when you go to Holland.